Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Class Gomez, and welcome to the Class Gomez Show. Today, I will do a deep dive of the Broadway hit musical In the Heights, who was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, with my friend Meagan Vazquetelles. Hi, Meagan. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Meagan Vazquetelles. I'm from here in the Bronx, but also we're known as New York City, New York. Um, I'm also an actress. So, um, yeah, I think that's mainly about it. I mean, besides I have a cat I live alone, and that's it. And I love
Yeah,
music. Well,
yeah. Uh, did Meagan, I have a question. Did you see this musical, the In the Heights? Did you saw this on Broadway?
I didn't get to see the movie. Was first of all, I heard of the musical production, the original musical In the Heights by Lin-Manuel Miranda. I didn't get the chance to see it while it was running. I believe it was like it ran around. I know it started in late 2000, like 2009, and I believe that it ran for like about 2 years. However, I did get to see the movie adaptation or the film adaptation of In the Heights, but instead of obviously it's not the original ones that it's with Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's of course Anthony Ramos as Usnavi,
Yeah,
and of course I do think that there was a couple of other notables like oh goodness, yeah, it was Melissa Borrero. Let me look up the cast. If I might, if my memory serves me wrong, but I do think that um in the uh in the movie there's also a couple of cameos or
yeah,
two spies. Like for example, Lin-Manuel Miranda was the Piagua guy, and Christopher Jackson was the Mr. Softy, the driver. And there was also the a dancer who also was Graffiti Pete. I forgot his name, but I think that he it was yeah it'll I have it in front of me. So
yeah,
but yeah I even though I didn't get the chance to see the stage version of In the Heights, I did get to see the film adaptation of the same
yeah,
play of the same title, and it was an amazing feeling, an amazing moment to like see um the uh the cast and the direction of it, the arrangement was just like, so unbelievable and so inspiring and just like amazing, beyond even beyond amazing.
yes. Also, one of the most interesting things is, did you know that that the person who play as Usnabi, because be, because before it was released on Broadway, the first production of it was in
Yeah, it was off Broadway. It was off Broadway.
Connecticut in 2005. And do you know who played the Usnabios? The person who also played as the Alexander Hamilton in Broadway, who
Yes,
is after Lynn,
yes,
which is in,
yes,
yes.
yes.
And
And
yes, that's right.
yeah, and it's the same. And just like in the Heights, the production of it, uh, um, the same person, the Lin-Manuel Miranda was the same author who did In the Heights is the same person who did Hamilton, in which I remember seeing it for
Yeah.
the first time. And it was a wonderful experience seeing Hamilton. If I mean, if you have the chance, even if you're in New York City, I say go see it. it's a must. It's a can't miss or must see experience that once you're there, you'll never be the same.
Yeah. Uh, Also, one of the most interesting thing about the In the Heights is it also represent Hispanic and Latino actors in Broadway.
Yes, it does. I do think that it was I know that over the years in Broadway history, Hispanics were not portrayed correctly, or not what they call, they were misrepresented uh, to the viewers and the um of the not of the Anglo-Saxon audience. And um even though that the music there was another musical, West Side Story, might have uh had influenced a little bit of like musicals like West Side Story, and I think there's a few others that like, or Kiss of the Spider Woman might have opened or broadened the widened the scope about Hispanic uh, Latinos, portrays of people in the Latino community. Um, in the Heights, in my opinion, had uh broke the door wide open and gave uh a wider array of what the representation of how of what Latinos are, especially when it comes to Washington Heights, which is here in New York City. There is a place called Washington Heights, which is where the George Washington Bridge is at. And when you hear you look up the lyrics of it of In the Heights. Let's see, in 1 second. The that goes something like shoot, wrong one. That Musavi says to the point, this is when he's introduces himself by saying, like, I am Musnavi, and you probably never heard my name. Reports of my fame are greatly exaggerated, exacerbated by the fact that my syntax is highly complicated because I immigrated from the single place in the Caribbean, Dominican Republic. Jesus, I'm jealous of it. Beyond that, ever since my first press on, I haven't gone back. God damn, I gotta get on that. That's his introduction. Obviously that's the song is like Lin-Manuel Miranda's way of introducing the character Usnavi without any flowery, what you call it, any distractions. It's like straight on. And he describes, there's a part later on that's when he's like having a conversation with Abuela Claudia, which you all know who portrayed Abuela Claudia. You know who was the actress?
Yes, the person who play as Abuela Claudia is Olga Merides.
Yes, and she also reprised that role in the film adaptation. So as Usnavi goes on saying, that was Abuela. She's not really my Abuela, but she practically raised me. This corner is her escuela. Now you're probably thinking, I'm up Schitt's Creek. I've never been up to north of 96th Street, meaning it doesn't mean east, it means west. So that's what he says, well, you must take the A train even farther than Harlem to northern Manhattan and maintain, get off on 181st and take the escalator. Meaning that's how, if you're living on the west, you take the A train all the way up to where it said where it says East West 181st Street, and there is the neighborhood of Washington Heights, and it's a very dense, populated, and heavily Dominican conclave and enclave of it. and kind of like what it would say. I don't know in your in the country of Philippines that there's a thing that there's certain enclaves that if you go if I don't know if there's any I don't know if there's even an enclave about the Philippines that are just saying a little Manila or anything, but that's considered as like, hey, this is a predominantly the Washington Heights, the section of Washington Heights in Manhattan is a predominantly Dominican in all Dominican section of it. So that's like mainly it's about like the history if you look into like the songs of it, it just explains like this is a that it tells like the stories. Like you hear the stories from like different points of view, like with Usnavi, with Nina, with Nina and her family, with Abuela Claudia. There's oh goodness, what's her name? This the Benny as well, a little bit of Benny, and I think I believe there's yeah Vanessa. Vanessa, there's a lot like that kind of thing. I mean, there's even stories about it, and there's also not to mention Daniela and uh, Daniela and Carla. That's their own. Like you get this like different arrays of stories of it all, but the difference is that the stage version, it's kind of strictened, whereas in the film adaptation, it's like it broadens up believing in a little more. Because in the film adaptation, you have Kuka, you have well actually I forgot Sonny. Sonny, whoever forget who could ever forget the character Sonny? But there's also but again that while the difference in between the stage adaptation and the film adaptation is that the stage adaptation is constructed. We all know that Nina has a family. There's Nina, there's Kevin, and I think there's I forgot her the name. I think it was Priscilla Lopez's character. Um, the and of course you have the piragüero, and which is like you know what a piragüero is? You know what a piragüero?
No, no, I don't know him.
A piragüero is like you know how when you go to a store or you go to a store to say to they find out where the ice cream is at or the if or have you ever maybe even seen like someone like an ice cream truck in your and I don't know if you ever seen one that's considered a piragüero is someone selling shaven ice like ice and it's called and it's like flavored ice and what it does is that the guy has to like put it has like a big block of ice and what he does is that he just shaves it off with this device and once he gets all the shavings he puts it in a cone and if whatever flavor you want whether it's you want grape you want strawberry you want cherry you want everything he puts it in the syrup, and that's how you get, and puts the straw in it, and that's how you get a piragua. And piragüero is a person who sells piragua, which is shaved ice, a flavored shaven ice of that time. So that considered as a snow cone. At that time, what you know what a snow cone is? It's like you see someone who shaves ice and they make it into a ball of that looks like a snow, and they put it on the cone, and you can have it regular, you can have it again flavored. That is what considered as a piragua. So, but back to in the Heights, um, again the difference between uh, the stage production, even though I must admit I never seen it out at, at, in person when it was playing. The difference between the stage production and the film adaptation of In the Heights is, again, depending on the direction. On stage is like it's like free, and sometimes it can be like either is restricted to like the storyline, which we all know before. Whereas in the film adaptation, the scope is a little bit wide, and there's certain changes in the character, but in the characters, but the storyline is still the same. We all know the story. We all hear the songs that we're familiar with. But with the film adaptation, it's a little bit different because I believe there's Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote, I believe it 2 to 3 songs to the film adaptation. Um, but going back to what your question is that the statement that you said, yes, the Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights does corrects, or maybe not correct, gives it a broader and much well represented version of what the members of the Latino community is. I mean, for example, I'm Puerto Rican. And even though a lot of people might look at me and say, oh, you don't look Puerto Rican, you look more like you're Italian or Albanian or any other nationality. But I'm a light-skinned Puerto Rican, like Lin-Manuel Miranda is a light-skinned Puerto Rican. So it's just like it gives like a certain array of color or rainbow. That's to say, not every Latino is brown skin or mestizos, which is like Indian that's been married, Indian and European mixed blood, which is or they call it a mixed breed of it. So that's how my opinion, or how I see it with the stage production of In the Heights.
Yeah. Also, when you compare it to the West Side Story, the difference is the author, because the author of the In the Heights is really Latino and Puerto Rican, unlike in the West Side Story, which is authored by an Anglo-Saxon. That's the difference.
Yes, it is. Because
In the
again,
yeah.
yeah, because again, the difference is that with, as I mentioned before, even though Broadway, from the earlier part, that has been dominated and still to this very day has been dominated by white males. The fact that in the earlier part of the 20th century of Broadway musicals, Latino community, the views on the members of the Latino community were poorly misrepresented. West Side Story, very well loved, but at the same time, it represented a poor view of what Puerto Ricans were, like their gangs or their baby makers, or they just like they're troublemakers. And then also at the same time, the same thing that has happened in the story of West Side Story, that is not just about Puerto Ricans, but it's also about Italians, which I know a lot of the times that the Italian Americans at the time were like, yeah, we're like that, but we're not really that kind of a gang type of like into cliques. And so and actually, you want to know the fun facts about West Side Story, the original, the origins of how West Side Story was being made. It was originally called East Side Story, and the characters were supposed to be falling, I think, two gangs between, I think it was the Irish and the Italians. I might be wrong. But then but then obviously there were a lot of changes, creatively, and the as time has not that time during those creative changes, the title has been changed from East Side Story to West Side Story, and instead of Italians versus the Irish, you had the story that we know now is that the Puerto Rican gangs versus the Italian gangs versus the Puerto Rican gangs. And you know that West Side Story is loosely based on William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. So but back to what I was going to say is that for the early part of the early part of Broadway during the early part of 20th century, yes, maybe not early, not just early, but uh, by close to the mid 20th century, or maybe 20th century, or going into the 21st century, the Latinos, Broadway did not look favorably on the members of the Latino community. And even though that there have been my changes, it wasn't still favored until, as we all know, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights blew off the lid, and just totally, maybe not change the landscape of Broadway, but hopefully have broadened the viewpoint of the white audience to say, hey, you know what? Not all Latin people are bad, and not all Latin people are dark skinned or brown skin, or the dark skin or brown skin or brown hair or brown eyes. It's just that there's all different shades of what Latinos are. And it's the same thing also with when it comes to another musical, like I think it's Flower Drum Song, that is that or South Pacific, when they look at like Asian, people of Asian descent, or the Southern or the Oceanic descent as well, because you also have, because I believe, no, Philippines is not it's not in the ocean. It's in the Southeast Asian. If I'm yeah, okay. So so with In the Heights, it just changed the mindset of the viewership, of the perspective of the non-Latino, they call the white male, the white dominated audience of that time, of when it came out, it came out in 2007. Yeah, it was 2007, and when In the Heights was, actually no, yeah, it was 2000, 2007, between 2007 and 2008, that In the Heights was still was coming up and had premiered, and before it went from off Broadway to actually the Broadway scene. And again, it challenged, it not only changed, it challenged the mindset of how audience members, especially in the white elites, have viewed Hispanics as total.
Talk about the songs of from this musical. You know, I really like the song Carnaval del Barrio. And for you, what is your favorite song on the musical?
my favorite song of the musical, of In the Heights. Um, Actually, there's a few of them that that stood out for me. One is the first one is um Respira. Yeah, it was called yeah, just breathe that one, the one that goes siga andando el camino por toda su vida, respira. And then when Nina starts singing it, the story behind it is that she comes back from Stanford, and she thinks that in her mind is that in her community they looked at her as like, hey, she got out of the barrio, she got out of the the neighborhood, and she's making something for us. But in her mind, it's like, I'm a failure. I'm coming back here, but how do I tell my people, my parents, that I just failed, that I'm not what I set out to be. So that's the song. I think that, like, the part, there was a part in that in the song. I'm gonna see if I can try to find it. Um, see if I can try it. Goodness, that hold on a second. There's a yeah that there's a yeah this the song of it is called Breathe, and um that in that song she's like describing, like, this is my place, this is my neighborhood where I grew up. And, like, for example, was saying, this is my street, I smile at the faces I know all my life, they regard me replied, and everyone's sweet, they say you're going places. So how can I say that while I was away I had so much to hide? Hey guys, it's me. The biggest disappointment, the kid couldn't hack it. She's back and she's walking real slow. Welcome home, just breathe. That's her way, the introduction of, like, she just came back from uh from California, and she's thinking, how do I tell my the people that I know I failed? I'm a disappointment. How are they going to see me? Like I just built up, like, this hopes, and to have that dashed in front of them, that was like her thing, that is like um uh nagging at her. So, and in some ways, why is it my favorite is that it resonated me a little bit, because it's like, um I grew up I grew up in a homeschooled era, homeschooled. I've I transitioned from, like, having my GED and having, like, two colleges, but throughout my life, I always thought, you know, if I don't, if what would happen if I say I'm not doing well, or I'm a biggest failure, I'm a biggest disappointment, and it also at the same time, yet at the same time, even though that I don't think of it right now, but it's like it just reflects of, like, of how far have I come as to, like, the accomplishments that I've done. And it just makes me feel like, I'm not the biggest disappointment. I might have had doubts back then, but it's not as bigger than it is now. So that song, it resonated in me in my life, that when I was like that, between my child, like, yeah, in between my latter part of my childhood and into my teens. So that's the first song is Breathe. The other the other one um is was it Paciencia y Fe, which is like the one where Claudia tells her story about where she came from and the struggles and uh how um how she's like, you know, in some ways it's like she's uh dealing with like the past, like how she came from, and it's like I'm at this age, and her concern is like her concern is like how do I leave my legacy behind with those who have loved me for so long, like and also one of those legacies when in this case and even though I think I mean the song Paciencia Fe had changed a little bit because in the stage version the part of it is where Black Cloud is saying, "What do I do with this lottery ticket?" And realizing that she was the person who claimed the $96,000 uh, uh, lottery, whereas in the film it's much different. I think it's called "I Made It Through, I Survived," and I think and I forgot the rest of it. The other that film adaptation of the song to that towards that film adaptation because when she sings that song in that film adaptation, she's asleep. She's like in bed resting, but she ultimately passes away, which is like it's different from like the stage adaptation. So that's my favorite, the second favorite. The two others, maybe actually, um, my there's three others. Um, one is obviously everything. Yeah, it's No Me Diga, um, Carnaval de Barrio, which is like very uh festival, and it does like in some ways it's like when you pay attention to the lyrics of Carnaval de Barrio and you pay attention to the storylines, it does oozes out like all the songs have their own authentic sense of storytelling. Like in Carnaval de Barrio, um, uh, was it yeah, Daniela says when she goes, hey, what's this tonteria that I'm seeing on the street? I never saw I see the day since when all that and people scared of heat. When I was a little girl growing up in the hills of Vega Alta, my favorite time was Christmas time. It says, ask me why. Paula says, why? There wasn't an ounce of snow, but all the coquito will flow. As we see the aguinaldo, the carnival will begin to roll. Business is closed and we are about to go. Let's have a carnaval de barrio. That part there, and that's in the second, the first and the second, uh, yeah, in the first, second paragraphs, she described Daniela is describing her time when she was a little girl in the hills of Vega Alta. You know what Vega Alta is at? That's in Puerto Rico. And what she said was very true that there wasn't an ounce of snow, but all the coquitos would grow. The coquito means that it's a small frog that it would flow. That means that the sound of the coquis would like keep on like sounding off, and it's like a little lullaby to her. And the aguinaldo, you know what an aguinaldo is? You know what an aguinaldo is? An aguinaldo, you know what? You heard of the term Christmas carols? You know, when you see Christmas caroling?
Yes, yes. In the Philippines, yes. Aguinaldo, yes, yes. In the Philippines, we have that kind. Uh, every Christmas, there is a caroling, and if the person likes the performance, they will give a money to the performers who perform Christmas songs. Yes, in the Philippines, that's called Aguinaldo. Yes.
Yes. So
Yes, we
in
have that.
Puerto Rico, we
It
have
is
what we
similar.
call an aguinaldo. Yeah, in Puerto Rico, they call it an aguinaldo, which is like a Christmas when you have carolers who go to their houses and they'll sing songs. Like sometimes they'll knock on like the door and they'll like sing a particular song, but it's instead of in English or Spanish. So uh, for me, uh, when you mention Carnaval de Barrio, it's like the sense of like this is a celebration of businesses are being closed, but let's celebrate that. Hey, we don't forget where we came from, and that's why when you hear what you call it when um that there's a community that goes, Alza la bandera dominicana, alza la bandera puertorriqueña, alza la bandera mexicana, alza la bandera cubana. And that means, you know what, that in that I'm going to translate what that means. It means bring up your flag, your like wave your flag as like whether it's a Dominican flag, a Puerto Rican flag, a Mexican flag, a Cuban flag, a Brazilian flag, whatever flag is that's if you let's say wave your flag, that means you're waving your pride, and that's why, and which is why the Piraguan guy says, "Arriba esa bandera, hazlo donde quiera, recuerdo de mi bandera." Me recuerdo de mi tierra means like I remember, like I raise my flag where, and I raise it up so high, like I don't know where it is, and I remember where I come from. My when she says mi tierra means my homeland. That's his way of saying I raised my flag because this my home flag because this is the flag that I come from, and I'm proud of where I came from. And I remember uh where I come from, and here you have this saying that where the Piragua guy and Usnavi says, me recuerdo de mi tierra, esa bonita bandera, contiene mi alma entera, y cuando me muera, enterrarme en mi tierra means that I remember my homeland, this beautiful flag that contains my soul, my entire soul. And when I die, bury me in my homeland. Like in your case, if I know, like I would imagine that when you see the parade, like the Philippine parade, you just had to say, "Hey, let me take out my Philippine flag and raise it." And because this is the land where I'm born from, and when I die, bury in the land of where I was born, of where I was born in. So uh, that's all. That's the I think I have four. I mentioned that there's four, five songs. So my favorites are Breathe, um, Paciencia y Fe, Carnaval del Barrio. Um, I think I might be even extend the list a little bit. There's Alabanza. There's and yes, and I think it's everything and everything I know. That last part where there's the song "Everything I Know" is Nina's song, like a tribute song to Abuela Claudia. Though just like Usnavi, Abuela Claudia is not Nina's grandma, but it's like everything but to Nina and Abuela Claudia and the people that she know is that when that she grew up with, that is like far away of paying homage to the woman who raised her, like just like Usnavi, um Nina to in Nina's eyes, Claudia is also her it's like her abuela, like her abuela that she never even had in her own biological circle. And in some ways, it's like as she sings along, it's like, I'm gonna make you proud. I may I I'm gonna make you proud by just going back to school, by going back to Stanford and finishing up what I was meant to do, which is to finish up whatever college degree that she was doing, and that's to make everybody, including Claudia, proud that she came out, that she went out of the bio to do something for herself, to make herself better than uh, than those who came out, what they call came out of the who not came out, more like who did anything to just move out of there and not be used, not get comfortable in her own comfort zone or in her bubble, which was the world was at Washington Heights. When she went that when for someone to leave that how the her comfort zone or everything that she grew up on, it was like difficult. But then it's like, this is like her way of going. Like, hey, I this like though Washington Heights is my home, I have now another home. I have to do something for myself that is like that's so that the community is proud of what I did instead of just being stay stuck in my own comfort zone. And as like if you read the lyrics, it says in this album there's a picture of the ladies at Daniela's, which is the hairdresser. It says you can tell it's from the 80s by the volume of their hair. There's Usnavi, just a baby, 87, Halloween. If it happened on this block, Abuela was there. Every afternoon I came, she sure I did my homework. She could barely write her name, but even so, she would stare at the paper and tell me, bueno, let's review. Why don't you tell me everything you know? And then there's a lot. When she mentions there's a picture of so and so. There's a picture of 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 uh of someone, like she mentions Daniela's. Then she mentioned Abuela in Havana. She says she's smiling. She's holding a rag doll, black and white, unsmiling. I know what she's thinking. Does she know she'll be leaving for the city on a cold, dark night? And on the day they ran, did she dream of endless summer? Did her mother have a plan, or did they just go? Did somebody sat her down and say, Claudia, get ready to leave everything, to leave behind everything you know? And it says, everything I know, what do I know? And it goes on saying, in this photo, there's a picture of my high school graduation with a program mid condition and a star beside my name. There's a picture of my parents as I left for California. Saved everything we gave her, every little scrap of paper, and our lives are in these boxes. While the woman who held us is gone, but we go on, we grow. So hold tight, abuela. If you're up there, I'll make you proud of everything I know. Thank you for everything I know. That's it, and it's in that singing that song. It's for remembering the looking through the photos and looking through like the memories of it. It's Daniel Nina's way of like saying, Claudia has all the memories that's packed in these boxes, and she saved everything that we gave her. Now it's time for me to give something back to her, even though she's gone, she's passed away. So that's why she says, I'll make you proud of everything I know. That's like her. It's like an eulogy, but not a sad one. It's more of somber then to celebratory type. So that's my favorite part. My favorite, one of the four favorite songs of maybe even more. But that's my so far it's my fourth and final favorite song of In the Heights.
Uh, let's talk about the difference of the In the Heights stage musical and the movie. For me, the the in in the Heights movie is shorter, while the stage musical was longer, because stage musical has included 15 minutes intermission after the act one, while the movie is just keep going until it was finished. In your opinion, who is better, the movie or the stage musical?
For me, I know I'm gonna sound repetitive. Um, the movie for me, I know I have not seen the stage adaptation when it came out. And actually, no, I did remember seeing uh, high school productions, and I think one or two on YouTube. But um, I know that there's the difference between the two versions of In the Heights, of course, and yes, the stage version, it's two parts, Act One and Act Two with an intermission, whereas the movie version is just like it just flows in, it just streamlines without even like an intermission of time. I felt that the movie for me it served like a a summary of the musical play itself, without any interruptions, um and it does uh deepens the deepen a little bit into what the storytelling the storytelling aspects overall, um of obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda's first musical, because obviously when as you know, when Lin Miranda uh first when Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical is In the Heights, that's his first baby, his first musical baby. And I don't mean baby like actual baby. I'm talking about his precious his masterpiece.
Yes,
And
it was
it
his
took
first musical.
yeah, and it took 7 years, because it first started in when he was in college. And I believe it was in it's not it's West, I think it's West, not Yeshiva, it's Wesleyan University. And it took him 7 years to uh work on it, craft it, uh and to work on it, craft it, perfect it. And I mean like perfected as in like fine tune it, and after many drafts, and also like finding the right persons to uh, do the musical, like Tommy Kail. Obviously, that he, I mean, they have been college buddies since they have been buddies since college, and along with Jeremy Sellers. I believe that he's also the production that he was the producer behind a slew of musical theatrical productions of the time of that kind. And I think finding the right not only the create people when it comes to creative stuff, but also the right financial backers and the how to find the right theater, because like any other musicals, sometimes it then there's musicals that started straight up from Broadway and others that have started off Broadway. Like I think In the Heights, just like Hamilton, the first musical that the first theater that premiered In the Heights was, I believe, the Public Theater, if I'm not mistaken. And of course it transitioned from off Broadway to just simple Broadway. And it became and the rest, as we know, is Broadway history. It became a success, won the Tony. We got for the including I think it's Tony, I think it's Best Musical of the Year and for 2009 at that time. And since then has been part of that, what they call the tapestry, or they call the simple tapestry, the rug it was part of this been the fiber of part of the tapestry of Broadway musicals. And of course, they along with and Hamilton is also the second part that it also now is becoming part of the not only just part of Broadway history, but part of the tapestry of Broadway musicals, but also part of pop culture. With the case and back to what you mentioned, the film adaptation of In the Heights, for me, it served like a summary. Not a summary, more like a it might have been a widened summary of what the stage version of In the Heights was, that instead of like it's not interrupting, it's not limited, and it doesn't leave you like cut in half. Like it does not leave you like once you're in intermission, you gotta go back to like once like act first comes in, you're in that world, and then intermission comes, it's like back to reality, and then you gotta come back for act two, be in that little world again before it ends, and then the rest is history. The rest is obviously like you leave and you go back to like called the real reality, but it's a profound and extended long reality. Whereas again the film adaptation just is no intermission. It takes you to that place of what that feeling of being in a community that is so deep and so has so rooted that it's just like it just leaves you like saying to yourself, wow, I would have liked to know what it is like in the world, to get to know what the people are and getting to know the stories of many stories of how a neighborhood like like Washington Heights is about. Even though that Washington Heights is not as fantasy, it's not fantastic and not as great, but it does leave you with a sense of like, I want to know more about communities that are represented in the right way, and not in a sense that is just like very limited, that it's just like it's very widened. That's what I do think, that's my opinion about how I see the difference between In the Heights on both sides, on both the stage version and the movie adaptation.
Also, uh, we will we will talk about the difference of the person who play as Usnabi for you. For you, who is the best Usnabi? Lin-Manuel Miranda or the person who play in the movie play Usnabi in the movie
I mean,
in the
Anthony between Lin-Manuel Miranda and Anthony Ramos.
yes. Yes, who is the best?
Um,
Lin-Manuel Miranda or Anthony Ram?
oh, that's an interesting question, and I haven't thought about it. Um, I I I do want to say that um, Lin-Manuel's portrayal as Usnavi in the stage adaptation, I felt that he put in more character and the color of it into his portrayal as Usnavi, and like not becoming like a goof, like kind of a goofy version, but more of like this is a person who is not a typical dumbed down, like what they call pinheaded uh a version of what a person who's of Dominican descent, even though in reality we all know that uh Lin-Manuel Miranda is of Puerto Rican descent. Um, but I think I prefer I'm for me the movie version. I felt like I felt more uh when it comes to like being in that immersed into the world of the the musical in the Heights. I felt that the movie version starring Anthony Ramos, who by the way played and who by the way played Usnavi at the Kennedy Center production of In the Heights before the film before the film was in production of it. I felt that his that Anthony Ramos' portrayal of Usnavi in the film adaptation of In the Heights, um, I felt that he put in the more of realism and put in and made Usnavi his own instead of copying the actions, the not actions, the instead of copying uh, Lin-Manuel Miranda's uh, Usnavi. I felt that the Anthony Ramos played his own version of Usnavi better than the one on in the one on stage, because I felt that there's the sense of he put uh that Anthony Ramos had put in more depth, as if he had made Usnavi into a real uh flesh and bone, living, breathing, thinking character, instead of someone that instead of just usually that there's the funnier part is more, yeah, he can in this in the film adaptation of In the Heights, uh the Anthony Ramos's Usnavi was more uh like real. Like that you can take, for example, when you see him going to when you see the opening scene where his character is walking to the bodegas, the store, and he sees the graffiti artist, and he runs him out, and just as he's about to, like, when he opens up the grate, pop the grate, he goes, there's the sound that goes, like, lights up on Washington Heights up at the break of day. I wake up and I got this little punk, I gotta chase away. Pop the grate as I light bump the awning. Hey y'all, and he turns to the camera and says, "Hey y'all, good morning." Whereas with Miranda, it's like he did a little oomph on it, but with Ramos, it's like, "Hey y'all, good morning," like a very casual, a little easygoing. So I felt that I preferred more like Anthony Ramos because, again, he put in a made who's not his own. Anthony Ramos made his own Usnavi more 3D and not like a cartoon version of what a Dominican American stone owners should look like or feel like or be like, and not, in other words, not make it into like a stereotypical version of what a Dominican guy is or acts like.
Yeah. On my opinion, the best Usnabi is, even though we don't agree, is Lin-Manuel, because uh, he did great as Usnabi, and also uh, for me uh, for me he writes the musical and he created that character. So for me he is the great Usnabi for me. Also, one of the most interesting things about that musical, mostly in the film version, uh, the interesting thing is the director of the movie. The director of the movie is John M. Chu, the same person who direct The Wicked Part 1 in 2024 and The Wicked for Good in 2025.
And also, yeah, and let's not forget that he's directed two-step it was Two Step Up movies, and also Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah. Yeah, John M. Chu, he really likes to direct many stage musical turning into movie, like the in the Heights and the Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I want to tell you, Meagan, that in the U.S. National Tour of In the Heights in 2009, the person who play as Nina Rosario is a Filipina. Her name is Ariel Jacobs.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, which is interesting. Because I'm a Filipino, and it is interesting that there is a Filipino American who played that role, Ariel Jacobs. I know Ariel. Her siblings is also a Broadway actor also.
Yes. Yes.
The person who play as Aladdin in the Aladdin the musical.
Yeah. I forgot his name. Yeah, that's that. Let me look that up. This is wow. The name is like Ariel Jacobs.
Yes. Yeah, Adam. Also, in the West End production of the Into the Woods, the person who played Vanessa also, Christine Aliado, is also a Filipina, which is interesting also in the West End. Also, on the awards, let's talk about the awards of the stage musical. The stage musical, the Broadway production did in 2008 won the best musical in Tony Awards, which is one of the great success of Lin-Manuel Miranda, the first success before he created the Hamilton.
I couldn't make out what you're saying.
Uh, the in 2008 the the Broadway musical In the Heights get won a Tony Awards for best musical in.
Yes, yes,
Yes, one of the first success of Lin-Manuel Miranda. You know, this musical is one of his really first success before Hamilton.
yeah, yes, and that musical, In the Heights was the one that laid the groundwork to be where he is right now. I mean, he did not only did Hamilton, he has done came out in he came I mean he has guest starred in a couple of TV shows and I think he did I know he has done uh the musical Moana, the film Moana, and both songs for it. He has written songs and starred in a musical film called Vivo. Uh, and let's not mention well this Moana, Encanto, and I think there's the live action of the sequel to or the prequel to Mufasa, to the Lion King, which is Mufasa, around around which he has and also he has also written songs for I forgot to mention Moana 1 and 2, and now he's written a new song for the live action version of Moana. So yeah, he is an accomplished singer songwriter, even though or it's more of a songwriter and actor, but I'm not sure about people saw I know that he had admitted that he's not much of a singer, but he's more of that he kind of feels like he's more of a songwriter than a than a singer. But yeah, he has been behind the creators uh, since I mean ever since In the Heights came in, that laid the groundwork to having that career where he is right now, both on stage and on screen.
Yes. For me, Lin-Manuel is the modern Stephenson name for me. He is the modern
Yeah.
Stephenson name.
He is considered, I believe that just like Stephen Sondheim, he is considered as a prodigy. There's
Yeah.
nothing. If I remember correctly, I think it's like I remember saying to myself that if Williams like playwrights or someone like William Shakespeare or Sondheim is considered as the god well if Sondheim is no actually no I got it wrong that I said if William Shakespeare is considered as the greatest playwright of all, then Lin-Manuel Miranda would be his son or his predecessor to fulfill
Yeah.
that.
Yes, you're right.
Mm.
Yes, you are right. Lin-Manuel is one of his successor. Also, we are in 1 hour now. We have no time.
Yeah, it's 8:59.
I think yeah, 8:59 p.m. now. And 8:59 a.m. here in the Philippines. Uh, uh, I think we need to end this. And I want to say thank you, Meagan, for talking about this. And also I may invite you again when there is when we will talk about another musical that you know that we want to talk. Also, I want to tell you about the new intro of my podcast because I am doing I am currently working on the new intro on my podcast, the new intro and ending, and and in the future you will see it. I'm currently working on that, and also on September I had a new many episode that I had a deep dive of the movie Into the Woods that will be released on September with my guest Chris Diaz,
Mhm.
China, and Sydney Maloney, my friend from Canada. We will talk about that on September, and and I'm very excited to release it on September next month. And also, I have also a deep dive of Legally Blonde with China that will be also released on September, and I'm really happy uh, to that. And also and also thank you Meagan also for do some great things that you tell many about musical and also about the Latino culture in New York City, which is great. And also you also sing some songs from the musical, which is also great. Also, we have no time now. It's time to say uh, goodbye and thank you, Meagan. Thank you for accepting my
So
invitation
much.
on this podcast. Bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye. Bye.
Bye. And
Bye.
this is the yes, bye. And this is the John Clarence Gomez show. And I declare that this episode is now signing off. Thank you for listening, everyone, and have a great day.